is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Christmas movies that came out after 1992.
I'm Alonso, and I will go where I'm sent. And this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast. Yeah, week number 4 of 25 here on the 25 Weeks of Christmas, taking a journey with my friend Alonso. Alonso, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I think you've enjoyed 2 out of the 3 weeks.
You know what? I get to see you once a week. So even if I have to like crawl through the glass of something like Jingle All the Way, it's still worth it.
So you sent me, to tell everybody, you sent me a list of Christmas movies after 1992 that you have either never seen or that you don't like. But you didn't say on that list which is which. Like, I don't know if the movie that I picked today is one that you've seen or not.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, when you tell me what this week's is. Thinking about it, it's probably better that I didn't get specific, because I suspect you would maybe enjoy too much focusing on movies that you knew I didn't like. So
well,
I have a 50-50 chance, maybe.
I don't know about that. That seems wrong.
I'm teasing. You would never.
Alonso, I think we're in the last week of January, or did we already? I don't know where we are when we're recording, but how are you feeling? Are you out of the Christmas blues? Have you been able to dwell on it because you've been too busy? Like, how are you?
It's a combo of things. Like, January is always weird because on the one hand, like, I hate that the holidays are over, but on the other hand, I'm even though like I've got all these Christmas movies that I didn't get to that are still in my DVR, I'm like, maybe not right this second. And as it turns out, I've been, Sundance is happening this month, and I've been editing a lot of reviews for that from my writers and writing some myself, and a couple other projects that I've got going on. So I really haven't had time to focus on it that much. But January is just always a bummer, and there it is. How's yours been?
I'm living. I would say if the winter movies had been better so far, I feel like I would be better. But gotcha. That's where we are. I feel like it's been after such a I felt like a step forward with Hallmark when in regards to Christmas. It feels like we're just very much back and with the same old, and that's unfortunate. I mean, we got the veil thing. I guess that's different, but it wasn't good. So
yeah, I'm hoping the rest of the year gets whatever memo the better Christmas movies this year got, because it would be nice to see that level of improvement throughout the year and not just during the holiday season.
Do you have something that you're watching right now that's just for pleasure? Like around the holiday season, you're having to watch your movies for work, but then you're watching Hallmark. Is there something you are turning to?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying Yellow Jackets, which I know it's season 1 is done. As we're recording this, we're still about 2/3 of the way through, so don't tell me anything, but that's been really good. And Just Like That has been interesting to watch. Sometimes I think it's great, and sometimes I think it's terrible. But it's going for something. So that's been kind of cool. And then just sort of trying to check out different sort of streaming things or whatever. Now, you turned 30 this month. Was that for some folks that's traumatic? But I didn't think it was too bad. How's it been for you?
No, it feels fine. I do feel like, when you turn 30, I feel like the number is more adult. Like in my 20s, I know I have kids, but I still felt like,
sure,
whatever. But I feel like now I need like a good budget to stick to. I don't know. So I don't know.
You have kids and a mortgage. You're living the dream. Like you're doing right? 30 right.
I mean, I told this on the Technically Romance podcast. I've thought about dyeing my hair, but I've also thought about that for a few years. So it's not like a, quarter life crisis.
You've got great hair. I wouldn't mess with it.
All right, but what if it was like a gray or something? Like, I'm just ready to speed up that process.
You'll get there. Just
I know.
Let it come to you. Trust me. Take it from somebody who knows.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, buddy. Are you ready?
Lay it on me, sir.
So I love Tim Allen Christmas movies.
Okay.
I think the Santa Clauses are a delight. But the one that I'm going with today is Christmas with the Kranks.
Okay.
How you've seen it, I guess.
I have. The one nice thing I can say about this movie is that a friend of mine is in it and gets a very nice check every year because it airs a lot on cable.
I can't wait to hear more about that. Now, can you tell? Have you? I guess you've only saw it once. Did you have to review it?
I did not have to review it, and I'm trying to remember, did I see it in the theater or did I just catch up with it on? I might have actually seen it in the theater when it came out. Maybe Dave had to review it because I remember we actually for years had a crappy little promo Christmas with the Cranks Christmas stocking that we would use if, like, the first stocking filled up. Yeah,
that's funny.
Oof. Okay. Well, we'll get
Well,
more into it after I watch
listen,
it.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's better this time for you. Maybe it's
Sure. Yeah.
my goal is one of these movies for you to be like, you know what? I've been wrong all this time.
You want to win me over? All right.
I want to win you over. But this is a good time to talk about the big Christmas news related to Tim Allen that they're doing a Santa Claus series on Disney Plus this holiday season. I don't actually know your thoughts on the Santa Claus franchise. I imagine you're like most people where you enjoy number 1 and then the rest you could take or leave.
I think even 2 is okay.
Okay, great.
I think 3 is really where it all starts kind of falling apart. As much as I love Martin Short, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that one I think is where you can the seams start showing. I don't know what exactly a series would look like, but I guess we're going to find out. I wish it weren't from the Last Man Standing people, but we'll see what they come up with to do with this character. Our friend Bibbs suggested that maybe it would be about the person who accidentally kills Scott Calvert and what happens when he becomes the new Santa. But, I don't think they're going to go there.
Have you read the description at all?
Oh, not really. No. What
so basically it's he's 65 and he's starting to be sore, getting old, having a hard time going down chimneys and whatnot. Sure. So he's trying to scout out his replacement essentially.
Oh, okay. So he can just hand the coat over. He doesn't have to actually be.
I don't know.
Die in service the way the previous Santa had.
I don't know. I was under the impression that once you're Santa, you are. Like I didn't think that time and space and age applied to you, but.
Well, this is a series that lives on changing the rules and finding more and more minuscule type on that card. So, I guess they've left that door open for all kinds of things. So, and
I just always thought it was going to be Charlie. Charlie loves his dad Santa. In Santa Claus 2, he's all disgruntled, because I get this great secret. I always thought it was just Charlie could be Santa. So, but I'll say this: I think we can all agree Santa Claus 3 wasn't good because there was no Bernard the elf. So as long as we can bring back Bernard, I think all will be right in the world.
That would be wise and definitely a course correction for the franchise. I hope they realize that that's their big missing ingredient.
And Bernard from the first one, the second, you guys changed what Bernard was all about in the second one. I think Bernard, Santa Claus 1, top shelf stuff right there. It's top shelf stuff. All right, we're going to take a break. You're going to watch Christmas with the Kranks. You're welcome. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it here on Deck the Hallmark. Oh, we're back. And we're talking Christmas with the Kranks. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Hey, I don't need it yet from you. It's just not so you're just the way that you're looking at me. I don't even like that a lot. So.
All right, tell us your story on this one, Brad. Did you see it in the theater when it came out?
Oh, I did not see
12 at this point.
I just Googled it and it has a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. No, I didn't see this in the theaters. What year did this come out? 2004?
2004, yeah.
Yeah, so I was in middle school at the time. And I know that I saw it at least relatively soon after. But I, at that point in my life, I was a bit just the fact that Tim Allen was doing another Christmas movie made me happy because he's Santa Claus, but he's doing a different Christmas movie. So I was excited by that. And I don't know. I just find it funny. Really quick, let me do a quick synopsis for people that maybe didn't get a chance.
Just a real question: had you read, or have you since read, the John Grisham book that it's based on?
No.
Just wondering.
Have you? Have you?
No.
No. Why? I mean, who would? In case you didn't see it, a quick synopsis for you. This movie is all about Luther and his wife Nora.
Wait, we're not going to get the sound bed for this?
No. Yeah, I didn't do it for you.
I know, but I was thinking that we should start.
Oh, sorry. I'm also. Yeah, you do it. You do it while I do it. Luther and Nora find themselves as empty nesters for the first time after their daughter is going to the Peace Corps. And Luther has a bright idea. What if we skip Christmas? Nora, a little hesitant, finally comes along with the idea. And so they start to skip things like, we're not going to buy a Christmas tree from the Boy Scouts, and we're not going to put up Frosty. And unfortunately for them, they live in a neighborhood that is very committed to Christmas. So everybody turns against them. They get a call one day after Luther finally gets Nora to agree to go on a cruise, and it's from the daughter, and she's like, I'm coming home and I'm bringing a boyfriend, and I'm coming home tomorrow. Are you having your Christmas Eve party? And so they are forced to, in a very quick amount of time, plan a whole Christmas party, convince the neighbors to help them out, despite being jerks all Christmas season. Of course, they're able to do it all, and the daughter is none the wiser, and Luther, by the end of it, is okay and is happy to be spending Christmas with his family. And that, my friends, was Christmas with the Kranks.
That's exhausting.
It was more. I appreciate your commitment to that bit. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, you doing it, like, was throwing me off. It was making me laugh. That's Christmas with the Kranks. Alonso, had you seen it before? I guess
I did. I saw it when it came out. I think.
Are you one of the 5% that gave it a positive review?
Not one of the 5%. Neither is Dave, who I think did review it when it first opened. I was not actively.
Did he join you for this rewatch?
He did not, and will never ever watch this again. But no, I remember I saw it at the time. It was just like, time has only made it worse. Watching it again this week, I was like, oh my God, this movie's even like, there's more about it that bothers me than before.
All right, well, let me quickly say why I like this movie, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong and make me feel bad about my life choices.
All right.
First of all, I find the whole thing, I know it's probably not funny. I find it funny that he happens, like, the one guy, it's not a big deal if you don't want to do Christmas, but it just so happens that he lives in this neighborhood that is the worst neighborhood. Like, as much as I love Christmas, this neighborhood would drive me nuts because of the type of neighbors that are, like, meddling in everybody's business, which drives me nuts. Like, just get out of here. But
there's some real homeowner association energy going on.
Yeah, no doubt. The Frosty thing, like, back when I grew up, I lived in a neighborhood with an HOA, and they made everybody do luminaries on Christmas Eve, whether you wanted to or not. Like, you could either do it and come and get, or we'll put them out for you, but we're doing this. And so it looked really nice, but this is the type of thing with the Frosty bit. And I find this movie to be funny, and I don't care, Alonso, if you don't like it, and I'm going to get made fun of. I don't care if I'm in the 5% of people that like this movie and would give it a positive rating. I watch it every year. It gives me kicks and giggles. I find it very funny when Enrique shows up at the airport and they just say, they have a, what's it say?
The sign is N initial RI. K-E or something.
Yeah. There's little things in this movie that make me laugh, and I don't know. I like it, and I'm sorry for it. And Alonso, I'll hand it over to you because I'm sure you have a tight 10 routine on this one.
Okay, I'll start with the good stuff, which is that this movie does have a really good bench of character actors. And that's the thing I appreciate. We talked about it with the older movies, Remember the Night and Shop Around the Corner both have a lot of those. So here you have, like, M. Emmett Walsh and, Dan Aykroyd and Kevin Chamberlain and, Vernee Watson, and, like, all these people who pop up for a scene or two, Cheech Marin you know, and you know, I do like an ensemble comedy where like you make the most out of your moment and then you're off, you know. So that's always fun. I love it when these people get work. However,
That's the only positive.
that's all I got.
They got good character acting.
Okay, the fake snow is all right too.
Yeah.
Okay, this movie hinges entirely on a completely false and artificial dichotomy, which is that you are either not doing Christmas at all to the point of being uncharitable and obnoxious and cruel about it, or you are super all in and putting up all the decorations and spending the $6,000 on all the things that you have to do to make Christmas happen. And the movie barely, if at all, acknowledges that there might be some middle ground. That maybe, yes, they could go on a cruise because their daughter isn't going to be home for Christmas and they don't want to deal with having the empty house for the first time. And that's not a bad thing. And it's not an idea that makes you a bad person.
Right.
You could do the cruise. She does force him to continue the charitable stuff to like the children's hospital and the church, but like he could buy the stupid calendar, he could put up the frosty, like he could throw them a minor bone and then go about his business. But
I will give you that. I will give you that. The hard stance.
The movie only works if Tim Allen goes whole hog Grinch, like poo on everything. And that's what makes everybody mad at him. And then, of course, okay, I'll give this movie this as well. It does figure out a way to undo everything it's been saying for the entire movie to present this notion of like a community coming together to make a Christmas miracle happen, because that's essentially what happens at the end. They like overnight or like in a matter of hours manage to like make the house decorated and the party happening and all this stuff so that when the daughter comes home she has no idea what's happened.
And they have a magical Santa. Give them that.
And they have a magical Santa play. Oh, Austin Pendleton, actually. Yes. Speaking of character actors. But again, the idea that the daughter would be so horrified that they weren't going to do Christmas or they were going to go on a cruise is presented as this fact where it's like, no, she's a grown up. She would understand. Also, she said she was going to be gone for a year. Calling them on Christmas Eve and landing on them and everything's just supposed to be there waiting for her, like that's nonsense. And if it hadn't worked out, I would assume she would be enough of an adult to understand that. But this movie operates on this very sort of childlike good, bad dichotomy.
I'm going to push back just a little bit. I'm going to push back just a little bit. So my mom, there's something about Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie that reminds me of the way that my mom operates. Mm-hmm. She's a stay-at-home mom her entire life. Her kids are everything. I can 100% see me calling my mom last minute Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve, be like, Mom, I'm coming home for Christmas. And she would do everything that she can to make it to where I would have no idea that they were doing anything. I can see that happening with my mom. She reminds me so much of that character. So there's something like when your world is completely all about your children in that way. Mm-hmm. I do think it's a stretch. I do think you could, like, I would have just been like, no, we're going on a cruise. We already paid for it. Like, if you want, like, come back to the house. The house is yours. Do whatever you want with it. But I can see it. I'll just say that I can see it.
Fair enough. And I mean, they definitely have portrayed Nora as being, very into the whole Christmas stuff. But again, I think to the point where she, by the end of the movie, she's referring to the whole cruise as like, oh, your selfish, childish idea. I'm like, no, he wanted to take you on a Caribbean cruise. Like, why are you now throwing it in his face when you were all on board for that idea, not that long ago? Let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis for a second. She is a beautiful woman that this movie goes out of its way to frump up at every possible turn. Unflattering hair, that awful Christmas vest she insists on wearing, that whole scene in the tanning salon where they somehow managed to just find the angles where like this woman with a great body suddenly looks like a sack of potatoes. Like they go out of their way to make her look bad. And
they manage to body shame her while also the scene where the priest comes in and he's like staring at her like at the same time.
They're ogling her and body shaming her at the same time. It's like, well done. How'd you manage that movie? But no, like you have seen this woman over the years. You know that she is absolutely gorgeous, and this movie is just like going out of its way to like and not just to like make her look bad, but to make that part of the joke. And it's just like, you are doing Jamie Lee Curtis dirty, movie. I'm sorry. Um, so yeah, I just find the its inherent premise makes no sense. And so then all the jokes that are built upon that premise are also ridiculous, you know. And Tim Allen, his a little bit of his harumph goes a long way, and all he does in this movie is harumph. I mean, like the Santa Claus, the whole point of that is that he goes from being the harumphy guy to being like the actual literal spirit of Christmas, and has to figure out how to balance those two things and how to let that inside of him. By the time it happens in this movie, by the time he has his like Grinch reform moment, I didn't buy it, I didn't care about it, and it felt forced and contrived, and he was mainly doing it just so Jamie Lee Curtis wouldn't be mad at him anymore. Um, so yeah, I just find it really contrived. This is Chris Columbus, who I think is not a particularly good director, and doesn't have his idea of comic timing is let's spray down the front sidewalk so that everybody falls down dramatically. Again, that's what this, and that's one of the things this movie shares with Jingle All the Way. There's a lot of big falling in this movie, which I can understand if you're 12 is hilarious. But yeah, I just think this movie is inane.
I hear your points. I understand your points, and I concede to some of them. And at the same time,
Again, no, look, I've said it before. There's no nostalgia like good nostalgia. If this is a movie that delighted you when you were young, you will likely make it an annual tradition and keep watching it. And that's the reason why Christmas movies get made, in the hopes of like getting their hooks in when you're little, and like you carry it with you for your entire life. But I mean, when this movie first came out, I was pushing 40 already, and so yeah, I didn't like it then. I really don't like it now. Although my friend Kevin Chamberlain is in it, and he tells me he gets a very nice check at the beginning of the year from all
what
the
is
times
he in
that
it?
this airs. He's the scoutmaster, the tree salesman guy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. How about that?
Three-time Tony Award nominee Kevin Chamberlain playing the tree salesman in this movie. So yeah, it doesn't work for me, and I don't like it, and I'm starting to worry that this whole 25 weeks of Christmas thing is going to be me introducing you to like these great movies that you love and you're going to take to your heart and add to your like repertoire, and then on alternate weeks you torturing me with movies that I don't like, and now I watch them again and I don't like them even more.
I mean, yeah, probably, but hey, it's not my fault. Like if there's a like you've seen most Christmas movies
Yes.
after 92, especially if it's like a minted modern day classic. And so I don't know what you want from me. This is what I'll give you next
I know.
week.
Look, I agreed. I signed on. I'm gonna grin and bear
it. next week, I'm gonna. I knew that you would have a hard time with Drink All the Way and with Christmas with Cranks. Next week, when I get my chance again,
Mhm.
I'm gonna look at the list and I'm gonna find one that I really think I can make a case for, because I can't make a case for these movies. These are purely guilty pleasure Christmas movies for me. And so next week's the chance. Next week's the time.
And here's the thing. Obviously, you aren't alone. Christmas with the Cranks has become a staple. It pops up on cable a lot every December. Like, you know, there are new Christmas movies that are so bad that no one cherishes them and you never see them again, and they disappear like a rock. Good luck, you know, finding a cable channel even in December that's going to air that terrible Nutcracker movie with Dakota Fanning and, you know, Nathan Lane as Albert Einstein. It's awful and no one loves it, and so you have to really track that one down. This one, obviously, people tune in for it, and so, you know, I even with a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, like I will say this also about film critics and Christmas movies. In my research over the years, I have discovered that most of the movies that we now think of as beloved holiday classics were often like trashed by critics at the time. White Christmas, scathing white Christmas reviews. But
Wow.
the things that they picked apart for were like sentimentality and, the things that basically are the reason that we tune in, the things that we love it for. Critics were like, ugh, this movie's all, it's a big bucket of goo, but that's, we watch Christmas movies often for that goo. And so, the 5% of Rotten Tomatoes in and of itself is not damning for this film, because very often Christmas movies aren't appreciated when they first come out. And like I said, somebody out there is watching this movie every year, or it wouldn't pop up so much on the schedule.
7.9 user rating on Metacritic. So there
Well,
you go.
here, little thing about user ratings on websites. Like, okay, you go to Metacritic for the critics' ratings. They're very picky about like what publications they run scores from and who their critics are, and yada yada. Anybody can go fill out the user critic thing. And you
Right.
don't even have to have seen the movie to fill out the user critic thing. Like right now, there's a documentary called Who We Are that's kind of a look at American racism. And all of these, like, mouth breathing white supremacist types have been going to like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and giving it bad scores, sight unseen, because they object to what the movie is about. So often with and also even for people, when people like a movie, the user rating reflects the number of people who made the effort to go to the website and vote for it, as opposed to like everybody. So I get it, critical consensus is already kind of wobbly, but user ratings are even
That's
wobblier.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. Let's go to the Christmas cheer section, the part of the show we
Oh,
talk about where we would put this on a sliding scale of Christmas cheer. Alonso, I know you didn't like the movie, but is there enough Christmas to go around for you?
I would say on a Hallmark level of just visual presentational Christmas, this movie scores pretty high. There, it is set in the Chicago suburbs, so there's snow and there's a lot of, there's a plot point that this is a neighborhood that really goes hard on decorating, and everybody puts up a giant snowman, everybody hangs lights, it's a thing. So on that level, yes. Spiritually, however, I think this movie is, let's not forget, in a Charlie Brown Christmas, one of the symptoms of like the societal rot that has Charlie Brown so depressed at Christmas time is the fact that there is a Christmas lights contest in his neighborhood that
Right.
Snoopy is entering. Whereas in this movie, we're all supposed to be mad at Luther because he made the street come in sixth in the lights contest because he didn't put Frosty up. So that's the other thing about this movie. I didn't really get into it before. When they talk about, oh, you're not doing Christmas right, they're not talking about the spiritual part of Christmas, the joyous part of Christmas, the communal part of Christmas. They're literally talking about the presentational. Like it's literally like, you didn't hang lights, you didn't give these people money, and I don't know. It feels to me like, yes, at the end it is all about the community coming together, but it rings a little hollow in light of what the rest of the movie has been about. So anyway, to answer your question, I'll say a 5.
Bah humbug. Higher for me. The Christmas decorations, obviously, it just works for me. Aside from the people, I want to live in that neighborhood. I agree that Tim Allen's character could have come around, 10, 15 minutes a little bit earlier in the movie, and it would have gone a long way. But he doesn't. But the town coming together, the whole montage scene of them getting the house ready, makes me happy. And so I'll go a little bit higher. I'll go with a 7. A 7.
Okay.
A 7. All right. Let's talk about something that people can watch. Maybe they didn't like Christmas with the Kranks, Alonso. Maybe they didn't like it. They want to get that bad taste out of their mouth, but they like the idea of it.
Sure.
But maybe not the movie as much. Is there something that you can point them towards that might work for them?
Absolutely. This is a movie that was a theatrical release for a very brief moment in 2013, and is one of the few movies that has gone from being a theatrical release to now being a Hallmark staple. And it's one that pops up every year. It was like Hallmark Drama was showing it. I think last year they aired it on Movies and Mysteries. It's a film called Angels Sing. And it is from the director is Tim McCandless, who was one of the guys who wrote The Iron Giant. He did a lovely little indie in the 90s called Dancer Texas Pop 81. And this is a movie about a guy who does not celebrate Christmas, does not like Christmas. You come to find out there's a sort of a childhood trauma backstory for it. He and his family are moving. They get an incredible deal on a house. Um, and the only thing they have to agree to, apart from, what they're paying for it, is that they have to sort of, maintain the streets traditions. Well, after they move in, they find out that it's one of those streets. That it's one of those streets where everybody decorates like mad and puts up a gajillion lights. And this guy's very resistant, very resistant, very resistant until his own son kind of like brings him around in a way that I won't give away now. It stars Harry Connick Jr. and Connie Britton and Fanula Flanagan, and it has an amazing array of former and current like country music types. So Chris Christopherson is in this movie. Lyle Lovett in a Christmas sweater is in this movie. Sarah Hickman's in this movie. A lot of really great musicians, and it's just really charming and funny, and I like it a lot. And so it is going for some of the same targets as Christmas with the Cranks, but I think delivering it in a much more successful way. Angels Sing, and it is currently available for rent on Amazon and Apple TV and YouTube and all those places.
It's a bit more tasteful, you might say. A little, I think that's a perfect recommendation, Alonso. That's the one. Go with that one. I was gonna do something stupid like Christmas Next Door or something, but that's way better. That's way better. All right, this is the part of the show where I will mute my headphones, and you will let everybody know what to watch next week.
Okay. Next week, we will have ourselves a merry little Christmas because we're going to be talking about 1944's Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland, directed by Vincent Minnelli.
Man, what a I don't know. It's very being on this side of it. It's very suspenseful. Like, I feel like I'm.
I know you're in the soundproof booth on a.
I know. The password is. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. We'll be back next Monday with another one. We'll be back tomorrow with more Deck the Hallmark goodies. And be sure to listen to Alonso's other shows, Linoleum Knife, Breakfast All Day. Why not? If you want more Alonso in your life, why wouldn't you? Go check those out. And we'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.